Good evening and welcome everyone. We're so excited to be in our new auditorium. And how about y'all? Are y'all excited to be here? I mean, look at this place. Isn't it awesome? We are loving it. They've done a great job and surprised us with making sure everything was done with the audio and everything else. So we're really excited about it. But anyway, I would like to call this meeting of November 22nd to order. And I need an approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Guthrie. Do you have a second? Second by Mr. Farnsworth. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, and we're going to move on. Since we did the welcome, we're going to move on to our moment of reflection, and Mr. Guthrie is going to do that for us tonight.
All right. Before we start our moment of reflection, I would just ask for continued blessings and health for all our students, teachers, staff, administrators, and especially as we move into the holiday season, gathering together and traveling. And now the moment of reflection.
Okay, and we're going to jump right in with our school highlights. Ms. Rayner.
Good evening, Chairman Hughes, members of the board, Mr. Pye. Last week, Summerville High School wound up the 27th annual academic awards programs at all three of our high schools. During the month of October and into November, our high schools celebrated academic excellence for sophomores, juniors, and seniors that earned academic awards for their outstanding academic grades for the previous 2020-2021 school year. Despite the limitations and the challenges of health and safety protocols, our high schools and their leadership were determined to recognize these young people in the appropriate fashion. So they had at least 2 academic awards programs per school, and Summerville High had 3 programs in order to include as many of their family members and friends as possible and still maintain safety protocols. So it's our pleasure tonight to show you a little bit of the information, not a little bit, but very impressive information regarding this year's academic awards. There were 1,317 students that were recognized and received an academic medal and an award. 405 of these students also received a Board of Trustees award, which signified they earned an A in every subject last year. Since this program began in 1995, more than 15,500 awards have been presented to district students. It is truly a unique program that is unique to Dorchester District 2, and we are so proud of its longevity and the support of the Board of Trustees in this program. A number of businesses and organizations also are committed to academic excellence within the community. Sponsors provided $1,000 scholarships for a senior receiving an academic award from each of the 3 high schools. This year's scholarship winners are at Ashley Ridge High School, James Lopez. Fort Dorchester High School, Martha Sarvis. And at Summerville High School, Lillian Christensen. And we applaud these young people for their achievement. And board members were provided with a copy of this year's program that lists all of the honorees, as well as our special teachers and the sponsors that help make this program possible. We're so excited that our teachers, special teachers that were named by our honorees this year, we had 295 educators in our district that were named by our honorees for making a difference in their academic as well as their personal lives. These teachers were provided with a certificate acknowledging the students that recognized them and nominated them, along with a pin designating them as a special teacher. So congratulations to these educators that truly make a difference for students. So we look forward to academic award season next year that we hope will be open to the public and back to normal. So thank you. Next, I would like to invite one of our high school educators at Ashley Ridge High School that is also a special teacher many times over, but Stacy Elwood, her main area of expertise that she's known far and wide is in the biomedical CTE program. So Stacy, would you come up, please? Stacy was recently named by the South Carolina Health Science Educators Association as their Teacher Educator of the Year. And what this means is powerful because Stacy is receiving this honor in recognition of her leadership and commitment to prepare her fellow teachers and colleagues to deliver high-quality career and technical education programs. And we couldn't have been prouder. Not only is she a leader within our district, but she is a leader in the state of South Carolina. And I'll have to give you another plug. She learned that some of her biomed students have been selected to present at an upcoming, you chime in if I'm not saying this correctly, there will be 3 or 4 students that will be presenting at the National Consortium for Health Science Educators Executive Council meeting in Charleston this January. And this will be bringing together leaders and experts in that field, and these students will be sharing their CTE experience and how health and science have impacted them personally and have helped shape their future. So congratulations, Stacy. And we'll go from science into the fine arts. We are so very proud of yet again some of our fine arts educators in our district schools and at the district office being recognized by the state of South Carolina and their colleagues across the state. It's no secret in our community, in fact, the state, that Dorchester School District 2 has a premier fine arts program that serves our students. This was validated on November the 13th when the South Carolina Art Education Association recognized leaders in arts education from throughout the state who have made extraordinary contributions to the education of the whole child. We use a athletic term. I think we swept the awards. We had 5 district educators that received state recognition, and as I call their name and their award, if they would come up to receive a certificate. Natalie Schwager, teacher at Ashley Ridge High School, who received the National Art Honor Society Sponsor Award. Meg Scow, teacher at Rollins Middle School of the Arts, received the Dr. Deborah Smith Hoffman Mentor Award for her leadership in mentoring students in the arts. Tripp Aldridge, principal at Fort Dorchester High School, received the Outstanding Principal of the Year in Arts Education. So Jason Walsh, District Director of Fine and Performing Arts, received the Administrator of the Year Award. And then finally, Elise Hurley, teacher at Rollins Middle School of the Arts. She received the Mary White Hart Art Education Award. And this is certainly an outstanding, prestigious award that is given to art education instructors for their outstanding visual art instruction to students. So it is quite an acclaimed award, and we just couldn't be prouder for you and for all of our recipients. Congratulations. And I know that some family members came with our award recipients tonight. Stacy Elwood, your family, your fan club, is you all just wave. So glad you're here with us. Thank you. And it truly has been a busy fall season. Last week, we also had the Trident United Way Day of Caring. We were so pleased at schools, even though there were some challenges in having volunteers on campuses. Trident United Way worked on their process this year to allow volunteers to come over a period of 3 days. So beginning on Wednesday, we had volunteers arriving on our school campuses, and then on Thursday and again on Friday. So there wasn't a huge number, and most of the work that they did do was outside. So we've got a little a slideshow of some of the activities that you can see at several of our schools. As you see these remarkable volunteers just working to truly make a difference in the learning environments of our schools. Just give you a few facts. We had 186 volunteers on our campuses for those 3 days. And 145 of those volunteers were from the Navy Nuclear Power Training Command. So we certainly do salute them and their great support of our school district. 6 of the projects submitted by our schools were not picked up, as they say, by local volunteers, but they are lining up supporters for that Trident United Way, and that they will be working in those schools after the holidays, so they will get their projects done. So we salute Trident United Way for making things work. We appreciate it. Some of the things that really stand out in the projects is you saw a lot of landscaping work, a lot of improvement painting. There were some repair work done in conjunction with Tony Souls and his department. There was a lot of service learning examples that our students certainly observe firsthand, and I think is powerful is a lot of these volunteers are now some of our best ambassadors because they've come into our schools and have seen firsthand the things that happen in our classrooms. So we salute all of the volunteers and certainly Trident United Way for making this possible for our schools. Thank you, Ms. Hughes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rayner. And that's exactly what we want to do, is we want to show our schools off every opportunity we get. And we really appreciate the community taking the time to come in and work in our schools and doing some things that we just have not had the time to get done, and just necessary things that need to be happening. So thank you very much. Next on the agenda is public comments on agenda items, and we do not have any public comments on agenda items. So I'll move on to the approval of the minutes. In your packets, board members, you should have received the minutes of the regular meeting from November the 8th, 2021. I need a motion to approve those, please.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Guthrie. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Robinson. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, next on the agenda is our superintendent's report. Mr. Pye.
Well, Ms. Rayner hit some of the big highlights. This is getting ready to begin. Well, it's been going on all year, but we're beginning a real busy time in Dorchester too, as most of the schools do holiday events, and programs. I know I'm getting invitations around the clock. Unfortunately, some of the same night, so you have to pick and choose, but a lot of variety. So if you're interested in some wonderful fine arts presentations and programs, we have them from all the schools, plays, singing, dancing. We have it all. So, and probably a play in there. I'm not seeing it come across yet, but usually we have at least one somewhere. So we're watching that closely. And that's after having a rough start and not sure what we could have this first semester. So this is our teachers around the clock trying to make things happen for kids to give them exposure. Now, a lot of the programs, especially we have the Performing Arts Center, they will be streamed so that people who are busy and can't make it that night, you can go on and see any of and all of these events that are being held there. And so that's just one of the few places we have streaming capabilities that at this time that we can show. So it's a good way to kind of catch up on some of the things happening. It's just a sample. You saw this tonight, the sweeping of awards in fine arts. No district has a better fine arts program than we do. And I hear that everywhere I go, and when people visit us, very few have a school of the arts, not an arts infused school. It's just kind of unheard of. And then they not only do a great job here, and we know them well in our community as great people, they're doing great things that are being recognized around our state. We have some real leaders here tonight, and I want to take a time to now spend a little bit of time to focus on a group of fine arts veterans that I know have done a fabulous job. They faced some criticism a month or two ago, and they made a decision not to attend the state competition for bands, and they gave plenty of reasons. We asked them lots of questions. We didn't jump up with joy they were doing it. It was not. It was a tough pill to take, but they convinced me, their administrators themselves, and said it would be a wonderful event. They wanted to do a celebration instead that weekend here. Well, I'm not sure how the contest went in Columbia, but it was terrible weather, a bad evening for anybody to be out. And of course, we had it the following week, and it was well attended, but it was so good to see 3 bands. And I like the judge. I count the number of people in the band. They'll tell you that I do. I want to know why one band is significantly bigger than another. Ford and Ashley Ridge are about the same size schools, so why is Ford's band larger than Ashley Ridge or vice versa? We know Sunville's a bit bigger, and so we expect them to have more. However, we want them to sound fantastic. We all know good band programs are helped with large numbers. It's the quality that makes the difference. We have the quality leadership that can take 5 people, 500, and make them sing and look good as they did that night. I was so proud and so overwhelmed. It was magnificent. Each one of you. I think Ashley Ridge went first, or was it Fort went first? Well, I said the rest of them guys will go home. This is about as good as it gets. I was so pleased. I'm thinking, they should have been in Columbia because they'd have won. This is a winning presentation out here. Then here we come up with Ashley Ridge. I'm like, whoa. Their program is every bit as equal. And then here's Somerville. Again, a fabulous program. But I was proud to see that once was an equity situation. It wasn't the same at the 3 schools. But I'm telling you, folks, you've passed that situation where I saw tremendous equity. I saw great fairness. I saw that. Ashley Ridge, I'm proud of you. You begged for those horns that I reluctantly found money to give you, and I counted them. They were all out on the field, and they look $1 million. So now I want to challenge your Fort Dorchester and Somerville. Your numbers went down from 8 tubas to 6 to now 4. They're up to 8. I want 8. So that's what you're striving to do. I don't know what middle schools we're pulling from, but you need to go there and tell those people, get a horn and stop going. Mr. Pies bought the horns. He wants to see them used. Start blowing away. Okay. But with that said, we have we had the Dorchester District 2 Marching Band Celebration on November the 10th, right next door at Stadium Park, right here next to our office building. And we videoed a segment of it that I want to show tonight that just absolutely blew me away. And it will blow you away. It was the night before Veterans Day celebrations district-wide. What a gift to our community. And how proud I was of all of our band students and directors. What a way to end a wonderful, wonderful evening. The students seemed to thoroughly enjoy it. Their parents and the comments that I was hearing, it was quite a hit for all of us. At this time, I'd like to recognize Ashton Ridge High School Principal Brooke Matthews, Meredith Melvin, and Kyle Harvey. Miss Meredith is the director. If y'all will stand. Brooke Matthews is the principal. Dorchester High School Principal Trip Aldridge. We have Jed Thomas, Director, and Matthew Kilby, Assistant Director. Summerville High School, Kenny Farrell, is he here? He was here earlier. He must have had to step. Okay. We have Leslie Gilreth, our director, supported by Michael Shiverdecker, who is the assistant director. And to show you how our bands work together, I commented on, maybe it was Ashley Ridge's show. I commented on all of them, but I'm like, that is fantastic. I know one of our bands did that a few years ago. People next to me said, well, Somerville High School did it in the state championship. That whole year was their program. And that Leslie Gilreth worked it out so that Ashley Ridge could share it and do it this particular year. Now, I have to have a talk with him. I love you sharing with Ashley Ridge and Fort. Share everything you have, because I'm about winning anyway. All three of you, we need all of you winning. But now this stuff of you sharing with Lexington, Spartanburg, Gaffney, it's got to cease, okay? He writes lots of programs. He is recognized as the king of programs, and he knows how to do a program. It's just I don't like to be sitting up there and comment on this wonderful program to find out Leslie wrote the program of the winning band. That we just operate that way. So, Leslie, we're going to have go behind the woodshed over here, okay, to take care of that. But again, this is who we have. All of the art teachers are already recognized in this group, and our middle school directors, our steel drum directors, our dance teachers. It goes on and on. Our theater teachers. We have it all in every department. We can hold our own with any single school district in any one area. Put it all together, nobody is in our league, and people will tell you that. So, instructors, I appreciate you. Thank you for all you do.
Okay, next is the financial report. Ms. Meunier.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and Mr. Pye. We uploaded your financial report as of September 30th of 2021 to your board packets. Hope you're able to review those. On the first page of your report, we'll show our balance sheet, which is our assets, liabilities, and fund balance, which is made up of $41,415,965. You'll notice that our investments in the asset section were higher this year as compared to last year. We were able to increase our fund balance last year, which allowed us to save some money in our investment account this year. In our liabilities section, we're right in line with our budget for the current year. And our fund balance, again, is higher this year as compared to last year because we had some savings through the year. On the next page is your schedule of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. And again, this is of the general fund. We had a total revenues and expenditures this year of $225,932,045. As of September 30th, our revenues were showing at $31 million. I wanted to point out that our EFA, it looks lower this year as compared to last because we were working off of last year's 135th day numbers. We just finished our 45th day in November, so we should see a slight increase in the new year, probably in January as they catch us back up. We did have an increase in students this year over last. We had an additional 482 average daily membership. So we should see some additional EFA revenues coming in, again, probably in the January timeframe. Our expenditures are right in line with our revenues. Our ideal remaining percentage is 75% since we're a quarter of the way through, and we're at 83%, right in line with last year. I will point out that our fund balance, as we were talking about at the beginning of the year, was 41 million, which is 18.4% of our current year operating budget. While this current year we are allowed to go over our 15% based on Act 593, I want to put a bug in your ear. Ms. Hughes and I were talking before the meeting. We need to revive our conversation with our local delegates about pleading our case for getting rid of Act 593. We need to have that repealed so that we can get rid of that 15% fund balance. It's more beneficial to get rid of that versus us having to go back each year to ask for a budget proviso so that we are allowed to exceed that limitation. We will probably over the next couple of years be able to increase our fund balance as we're able to use some of our ESSER money to address the learning loss. We're able to put some of our tutoring money that was originally in general fund be paid from ESSER monies. So we may still see a slight increase, and we just need to have that repealed. It's good for us to have a healthy fund balance.
Yeah, and board members, just so that you know, we have already begun the process, the ball rolling per se, to work with Dorchester 4 on revamping the letter that we submitted to our delegation last year, hopefully to get it into them sooner this year so that we can, Dorchester 4 has got some new people in place, so we want to make sure we go back to them and we get updated information so that when we submit it this year, we'll have all the current stuff in there so that hopefully it will encourage the repeal as opposed to just giving us the proviso to allow us 1 year. We don't want to have to do this every year to go back and beg for a proviso. So hopefully they'll do the repeal this year. So
sounds great. Yes, thank you. We'll work on that letter. The next report will be your food service fund on the balance sheet. The big negative number that looks like in the middle of the page, which is our due from general fund, shows at 2.4 million. We did have some bills to Sodexo that we were working on reconciling, so our timing was a little later than this September 30th report, so we did make those payments in October. So on your next page where you see the schedule of revenues, expenditures, we had an additional $1.3 million of expenditures for the August and September time frame. So when you take that into consideration, we are more at a break-even amount, which is what we're trying to get at, is just break even. We don't need to make a lot of money and have a lot of profit, but we want to break even for sure. So those are all of the balance sheets and revenues and expenditures. The next report that was in your packet are the school activity fund balances, which is their general and operating account monies, as well as their trust fund monies. This is still the very beginning of the school year for these folks as of September 30th, and the principals are all aware. We've stressed this to them to keep a very close eye on these funds as there was a good amount of carryover from the prior year. So we will be sure to help them keep an eye on those monies and just make sure they're spent in a timely manner. There's nothing really out of the ordinary in those funds. So those were all of the details that I was going to go over with y'all. If you have any questions for me.
anybody have any questions for Tina? Comments? No? Okay, I'll need a motion to accept that as information from someone, please. Motion made by Mr. Mitchum. Do I have a second? Mr. Farnsworth, any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Thank you, Tina.
Thank y'all very much.
Okay, next on the agenda is our facilities and construction report. Mr. Souls.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Pye. You've got the complete report that was submitted last week, and I just want to hit on a few of the highlights. This building, of course, is one of the highlights. We've got the certificate of occupancy on Thursday afternoon from OSF, and a little bit. We got the certificate of occupancy on Thursday from OSF, so we are 100% in use on this facility. Everything is safe. Everything is in place. We're still touching up paint. We're still doing, the contractor is doing some punch list work on the building. our in-house facilities folks are working on this room, and we're still going to continue to do some improvements throughout the facility. Probably it took us almost 100 years to get here. We'll probably be doing work on it for the next 100. So that's it is what it is, I guess we should say. So, and we're very proud of it. It turned out very well. Over at the middle school, the arts. I do have a report for that from Thompson Turner. Miss Smith, do we have the? We didn't have it up. I think you have that in your packet. The weekly report from Thompson Turner has the latest and greatest pictures from the site. They are completed with all the concrete for all the school footprint. They are continuing with the block work out there, the in wall rough ends with the electrical, the plumbing. They've already started HVAC work in the kitchen and the cafeteria area. The roof decking is going in, structural steel is going in. They're moving at such a pace that it's kind of hard to keep up with what's going on. I try to make a trip out there at least once a week to get my boots dirty. And you got to be very careful on that site because there is so much activity going on that you'll get run over if you're not careful and with all your eyes and all your faculties about you. But there's a lot going on out there. Hopefully next month we'll have some of the latest and greatest aerial pictures. And speaking of the aerial photography out there, we've put Thompson Turner in touch with our photography folks at Somerville High School. And we're going to see if we can put together a team of folks from the high school students to go out there once a month and take some aerial photography. There is a $120 charge for that from some other company, but if we can get it done by our students and give them some experience, that's a win-win for everyone. So that's a great thing. The bus loop back here behind us, we have pretty much got everything wrapped up. We've got a little bit of concrete going in this week. The ramp and stairs are installed, and hopefully we can get the OSF to approve that before the end of the year. That way, when we come back to school on January 3rd, our bus drivers will be on a new route and our kids will be off of Main Street. And with that said, we kind of looking toward the next phase of what we want to have happen around the district office. Our vision is to remove the art room back here. When we started doing the cost per square foot and what we were going to get, it's kind of difficult to upgrade that or renovate that. There were several different levels of flooring. There's not much space in the bathroom for ADA compliance. So if we spent the money to do that, we would still have a minimal facility. So we'd like to go over here to the gym and renovate that because it has more historical value, we believe. Plus the fact, and the main fact of that whole drill is when we remove the art building, we can take a lot of the playground activity that goes on Main Street and move it back here. So that'll even further separate our students from Main Street. So that's kind of the big picture. And we'd like to get started on that as probably the first of the year is about the best time to get started on that. We've got some things in place, and we're getting some conceptual designs for the gym, and we're trying to put numbers to that. It's kind of difficult. We know we're going to have fire protection because it's about 10,000 square feet and over 40 feet tall. We know we're going to have HVAC. We know we're going to have an electrical upgrade. And we know mechanical, electrical, and plumbing is about 50% of a project cost. And in today's world, 50% of a lot is a lot. So we're trying to keep the numbers to a minimum, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to have additional space that we greatly need because we're not going to get any smaller anytime soon, or at least I don't see that happening. So with that, I open it to any questions you may have.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Sauls? No.
Anybody have any concerns with them tearing down the art building
I haven't heard of anyone having any concerns with it. I mean, Miss Barker,
shape, and we can't afford to do both. We barely can afford to do one. And I think the best investment, as you said, would of course be the gym, and it would offer us to have finally the locker room during the football seasons, because they, unlike the other two high schools, Somerville High School has to use this stadium. They do not have school facilities to use like the other two schools. So that's something we have been really lacking in. So that is something I would like to see added. And while we're doing it, I mean, it's in the back, it'll just be part of the new renovation. And then the front part will be probably another meeting space, definitely more office space, and we can put various people in there, keeping some flex situation. So as we grow and in future years, it may be a need to maybe move some folks from this building into that building, clearing ways for some departments that might need to be expanded, like finance, personnel, or whatever, to have more office space. So we just think it's the best investment for the money. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I was going to ask what the building was going to be used for, but are we also, during all of this renovation, are we also looking at like our visitors that come to our stadium, the location of them for a place to go and meet, like during halftime? I mean, I know they have a small space now that I think they were kind of stuck over to the side or to the back behind the scenes.
I think the Spade just recently redid that over. It's only used for like 10, 15 minutes at best.
Right.
A game 6 weeks out of the year, 7 weeks maybe.
I mean, I just want to make sure they have restroom facilities,
Right, we do,
and things like that
Yeah,
they're able to use. I mean, we have a very nice stadium out there, and I want to make sure we're able to cover that part of
Okay.
it too. So.
I'm not sure, does Ashton Ridge have a place for visitors? No. And I know Fort doesn't either. So none of them have been able to afford it. This one's probably in the best shape. Limited as it is. But I think it's going to be adequate and fine. I'm okay with it. It might be a way to actually enlarge it. I haven't been out there to look at it. That bin next to this open, so it could maybe be expanded if necessary.
that's a possibility. We can look into that.
That'd be a lot easier than, see, if we take up the space in the gym, they'd have them side by side. They don't.
Well,
That
they
wouldn't
don't
work
want
very well.
No.
listening in on the game plans for the second half of the game. I don't think that would work too well, but yeah. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is our personnel report. Board members, in your package, you should have received the resignations and recommendations for the 2021 or the 21-22 school year. Does anybody have a problem with doing those in open session? Okay, I need a motion to approve those, please.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Guthrie. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Mitchum. Any discussion? All in favor?
Just very quickly, and reading over, of course, all of our resignations hit home with us. There is one on there, and I will not name names just because it's a board report, but one of our directors of a group that has just made leaps and bounds, and I think about the services they're able to offer to our student population. This particular person has made DD2 a lot of what DD2 is for that population of students. For all students is because of this person, and so I would be remiss if I didn't say we certainly hate.
We
to
have
take
one
that
more
resignation.
board meeting, and they will be here, and we will recognize several people that night.
Yep.
So we weren't leaving it out. It was just on the report because of the timeliness of the resignation, the retirement.
Love it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second. And any more discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay, next on the agenda is our board committee reports, and I am going to turn this section over to our policy committee chairman, Mr. Evan Guthrie.
Yes, the policy committee was able to meet last week, and for your consideration for first reading, we have 4 policies. The first is ADF District Wellness. The second is IHAC Social Studies Education. Third is IKFR Graduation Requirements Administrative Rule, and the fourth is JLDBB, Suicide Prevention, Intervention, and Postvention.
Okay, all of these reports or all of these policies are submitted for first reading. I need a motion to accept those for first reading. Motion made by Ms. Wimberly. Sorry about that. Do I have a second? Yes. Ms. Robinson. And any discussion?
I just had a quick question on graduation requirements. I noticed the change in there. So it looks like we're requiring a test for citizenship and immigration. Is that a state standard? Is that okay? Okay, so we're just adding that state requirement. We've been doing that, I'm assuming. Got it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? 6-0. Okay, other business and correspondence. Teacher forum update. Ms. Hoffman.
Madam Chair, members of the board, and Mr. Pye. It is my pleasure to speak on behalf of the Teacher Forum this evening. I am pleased to provide you with the following update. The Teacher Forum met virtually this past Thursday evening. The forum wishes to celebrate the success of the first new teacher mentor meetup, which took place on November 1st. We had approximately 15 new teachers and mentors attend the event. The forum would like to extend a special thanks to Wine and Tapas Restaurant on Main Street for creating a welcoming space for us to gather and play trivia. Our local community is just one of the things that makes working in DD2 so special. The mentoring committee is working on planning another meetup soon. Likewise, the teacher scholarship sponsored by the forum closed on November 8th. There were 11 applicants for the scholarship. The scholarship committee will work together to select the applicants that will receive the award at each level. I will provide an update of the recipients once they are selected. I am most excited to share with you the wonderful experience that I had at the South Carolina Teacher Forum Conference that's hosted by Sarah annually in Myrtle Beach. I just got back last week. I am grateful to the district office leadership as well as my school leadership team that it was made possible for me to attend this professional development event. While at the conference, I learned so much about leadership and educational advocacy. I got to workshop and network with other leaders in the profession, and I even got to meet the state superintendent of education, Mrs. Molly Spearman. It was pretty cool. Truly, the retreat left me with a feeling of a true sense of purpose for my duty as a teacher leader. It was an invaluable experience, and I was so proud to represent DD2 while there. I did want to highlight two things that the teacher leaders were asked to take back to their district communities. First, the Teaching Fellows program is one of the best ways that our state currently has to promote teacher recruitment and retention in our state. For anyone who might be unfamiliar with the Teaching Fellows program, it is a SARA initiative that is designed to recruit high-achieving high school seniors into the teaching profession. Teaching Fellows receive up to $24,000 to attend a Teaching Fellows institution. That's over a course of 4 years. The program requires that recipients teach 1 year in South Carolina for every year that they receive the fellowship award. Additionally, Teaching Fellows offers numerous professional development and leadership opportunities, as well as opportunities to get involved with the local community and businesses through special partnerships that are only available to the Teaching Fellows. The application deadline for Teaching Fellows is due by December 1st by 11:59 p.m. Additional documents must be submitted by December 3rd. I'm committed to encouraging teacher recruitment and retention in our school district as well as our state. I hope this information encourages at least one high school student who was not previously aware of this opportunity to apply. Please help me to spread the word as the deadline for the scholarship is quickly approaching. In like manner, I thought it was noteworthy to mention another opportunity that is available to teachers through an initiative called STAR, which is made possible by the PSTA. STAR stands for Strategies for Teacher Advancement and Renewal. The program initially began as a way to reward and recognize outstanding veteran South Carolina teachers. Outstanding teachers who apply and are chosen are invited to a week-long retreat at no cost to the school, district, or the individual. Teachers must have at least 5 years of teaching experience to apply. Interested educators can learn more by visiting palmettoteachers.org/star, or they can contact me via email. I have several hard copies of the application that were shared with me that I would be happy to send out through district mail as well. As we move into December, forum members will continue to work diligently to plan future committee endeavors. Each committee was asked to prepare a brief update for the larger group detailing their accomplishments and plans thus far so that we can celebrate our collective efforts going into the winter holiday. Thank you for your time, your attention, and concern regarding the forum's business. Your dedication to educators, students, and our schools does not go unnoticed. I hope you have a safe, restful, and a happy Thanksgiving holiday spent with those you love. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we're going to move on to our public comments. And I have to apologize before we start the public comments because we did have one public comment that was should have been done at the beginning because it was on something that was on the agenda, and that would be Christy Calavera, the district wellness.
For shorty. Okay, I think it's important for me to hold this. I think it's important for us to understand what role we're playing in society today that will inevitably become history. I'm going to read declared points and goals from Congressional Record of 1963. As I'm reading these directives, please think of how you are helping implement them or if you're aware of the policies in our schools and curriculum that aid in the progress of these points. This is a self-study, and every individual in this room can be a part of the problem or part of the solution going forward, which I believe does aid to the health of our district. I'm not reading these in order, and I'm not going to read them all. There's 45 of them, but I'm going to stick to the ones that I think have to do with the school, and I think I'm also going to give an example of each. So emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents, attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and retarding of children to suppressive influence of parents, which I think can be accounted for in social, emotional training, learning. Support any socialist movement to give centralized control over any part of the culture, education, social agencies, welfare programs, mental health, clinics, etc. Which, I mean, we could look at that in the Department of Education and how it trickles down to our own associations here in South Carolina. Get control of book review assignments, editorial writing, policy making positions, which we do know an email went out for us to all go over what books are going to be introduced to our children. We do understand that that's been a problem. I know I brought up several books myself when I came to the meetings. Break down cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography and obscenity in books, which we've seen that in our books, haven't we, here recently? My kids also have had a teacher that in sports medicine played house the entire curriculum. That's what they learned is house, which is a narcotics addicted narcissist. That's what they watched in their sports medicine class, which I don't think that helped anyone that was serious about sports medicine too. Present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, and healthy, which I don't know if any of you saw the book, All Boys Aren't Blue. If you had an opportunity to see that, that kind of coincides with that. Eliminate prayer, which we did that in our very own board meeting here. And belittle all forms of American culture and discourage the teaching of American history on the ground that it was only a minor part of the big picture, which we see happening in CRT, where that's having a huge rollout across every one of our schools in South Carolina and pretty much all over the country. These are from 45 declared communist takeover goals from 1963, so this isn't new, but I think if you all look at things, it's going on in our schools. I would recommend The Naked Communist by Cleon Skousen to get a little bit of a clue.
Oops, thank you. Okay, next up is Erica Miller.
Good evening. I just want to talk about the policy IJL, the library materials selection and adoption. I'll just read a little bit of the policy to start out with. The board recognizes that it's the primary objective of the Library Media Center in our schools to implement, enrich, and support the educational programs of the school. It is the duty of the Library/Media Center to provide a wide range of materials on all levels of difficulty with diversity of appeal and presentation of differing points of view. The responsibility of the selection of materials, both print and non-print, for use in the library media centers and related activities is delegated to the professionally trained and certified library media specialists employed by the district. In addition, the board recognizes that the final decision as to what materials an individual student will be exposed to rests with the student's parents/guardians. However, at no time will the wishes of one child's parents to restrict his or her reading or viewing of a particular item infringe on another parent's rights to permit their child to read or view the same material. That's it. That's the direction for the library specialists. Recently, there was a sexually explicit book in Fort Dorchester High School's library. I would like to see this policy be specific that that is not allowed, that the board agrees sexually explicit material does not belong in a school library. Second of all, I went through the process when I brought the concern up to the principal at Fort Dorchester High School. This issue is resolved. That's not it. This is going forward. So the policy then goes through. If you have a concern, you submit a form to the principal. They review it with the school improvement council. The school reviews it. The principal reviews it. Let's say we all agree. That's it. It ends there. It does not go back to the district. So what if this book is also at Ashley Ridge? Let's just say, for instance, it doesn't go there. This policy needs to be more specific than what it is. There only is a process if there's a disagreement between the parent and this committee inside the school, that then it goes to district review. So I am asking for the policy board to review this policy. Thank you.
I keep forgetting to turn the mic on, but thank you, Ms. Miller. And just a comment to you, the policy IJL is currently with the policy committee, and several changes are being made to stiffen that policy or to strengthen that policy. So just so you know, it was supposed to be something that was going to be presented at this meeting for policy first reading, but because it is an ongoing policy change, that we still have some other things that we're looking at and that we want to put in place, that's the reason why it did not come through. But just wanted to let you know that we are looking into almost every comment that you just made. So, okay, next up is Ken Greenstreet.
Good evening. I stated over 2 years ago that the Constitution and American history are not being taught with enough depth to produce American patriots. Not one of my 3 children did or have read the Constitution in its entirety in school. They have, though, at home. I have quoted from the Naked Communist before. This is a copy if you want it. I have given you the complete list of the Communist 45 goals tonight. It should be up there. I challenge you to read them, look around you at what is happening in society, and ask yourself what you can do to help stem the tide. One of the goals states get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for the socialist and current communist propaganda. Last week I asked my daughter to ask random classmates the following questions. She asked 3. None of them knew the answers. Does December 7th, 1941 mean anything to you? Does June 6th, 1944 mean anything to you? Does Iwo Jima mean anything to you? What are the freedoms in the First Amendment? Not one knew anything. There is a lot of American history, but if 3,000 or more Americans died, then maybe we should spend more time helping students gain an appreciation for the sacrifices of those who died. It is my view that we are teaching what the Constitution is, but not the history of or why the Constitution exists. The book I gave you a month ago is an excellent source of both. Veterans Day. I wrote to all of you explaining my thoughts and what was done on Veterans Day. I received an email from the district with pictures showing what was done. I truly appreciate that effort. One of the photos shows the Air Force ROTC unit at Ashley Ridge doing a flag ceremony. I do not know how many students are in the photo. I will assume 100, but there are over 2,300 students at Ashley Ridge. There are photos of Ashley Ridge senior class athletes around the campus, my son being one of them. Here's an idea. Go out to the local Veteran of Foreign Wars groups and take pictures of its members. Obtain a photo of when they were young. Put those photos side by side on a poster with their birth date, place of birth, when they served, and where they served. Hang the posters in the hallways of the school. Or make a video recording of these veterans and show the clips in high schools. I am part of a Somerville Veterans group. We have a Vietnam POW in that group. Communism has killed over 100 million people, yet in the last 2 days, we have heard on the streets of Chicago, quote, the only solution is communist revolution. That's right, we need communism. That's what we need, close quote. Finally, in my 2 years of talking to you, I hope I have been respectful to each of you. I have been to the American Cemetery in Normandy. I've been to Pearl Harbor. I have flown flag-draped coffins home from Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm not an educator. I don't have lesson plans, but I'm a keen observer. We are losing America one student at a time. Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is executive session for personnel related to retirement of administrative staff members. But before we get the motion for that, I'd just like to just to say that as you're leaving out tonight, we will have cookies as a celebratory event of coming into our brand new building and how excited we are. We have cookies and juice out there. If you would just like to take some or whatever on your way out, that would be great. It'll be over to your right as you're walking out the door. Okay, so I need a motion, board members, to go into executive session for personnel matters related to retirement of administrative staff members.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Guthrie. You have a second? Second by Mr. Farnsworth. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. And we will be returning after the executive session. Thank you and have a great Thanksgiving. I need a motion to go into open session.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Guthrie to go into open session. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Farnsworth. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Okay. Actions required for item by executive session. Mr. Pye, would you like to?
I appreciate the privilege to be able to talk to my staff, who I dearly love and I dearly appreciate. Look at them. They're here. They sense something's not right in the air. They've sensed it for some time, and they are owed an explanation because they've never seen me as a quitter. They've never seen me as a person that can't rise to do what I need to do. I'm very committed. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I try to model that to them so they can do it, and they do it. They deliver time and time again. I've set such high expectations, and I apologize for how hard I've been on you these last 18 months because I have felt pressured, and the pressure evidently I was not handling well, and because we're family, I took it to the family, and y'all took it, and you've helped me, and you've really made it much easier for me to do. You're very understanding, and nobody could work for people like you. You're wonderful. So whatever I'm doing with my life, you really should be the first to know. I don't want anything in the press. I don't want anything out there that you aren't told first because you're my family. And family needs to know before the public needs to know anything. It was after great deliberation and very emotional. It is time for me to begin to want to move on. I've done this for 52 years. I have been successful all 52 years. I feel in my heart I've given it my very best. I'm not a quitter, and I'm really not quitting now. I'm just going to have to pass the torch to someone else so they can have that renewed passion. My passion has waned only because you get tired after a while, and this pandemic has sucked the blood out of me. And so I feel the district deserves, our children and our teachers deserve better. They deserve the best that we can offer. And I've offered all I can do. I've given my best, and I'm proud of what I've done. And I promise that, so tonight I'm announcing that I am retiring officially at the end of the year. I was going to do it, and I have a feeling that's why you're out there. I really had planned to possibly be tonight announcing that I was leaving at Christmas, but the board needs time to try to find someone. There are going to be some other people that are going to be making decisions, and I don't want to hamper them because if they really are ready to leave, I don't want them making their in other words, they're going to leave at Christmas time. Why do they need to wait to June? I got it. I can do this, and I can cover it. And I'm asking the board to be patient, to be supportive, and realize that I'm here working for the children of Dorchester too, which you're working for. That's what we should be modeling at all times. Our naysayers can come and fuss and talk to the cows come home. They can't change my heart. They can't change your heart. Nobody's going to change this heart. Do you understand? This heart is pretty well etched. And so I may look like I'm succumbing or giving up, but that's not it. I do better. I do better, my best work, when someone says you can't do it. And so it's going to be tough, but I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you, Tony. I'm counting on you, Peggy, Camilla. I'm counting on you, Mona. I'm counting on all of you to give me your very best so we make sure this district is poised for whoever replaces me. We'll be so proud to have the team that we built together. And your loyalty, your support is very important. And you've given it. I just need you to give a little bit deeper. And we'll be deciding in the next week or so, I guess, how we're going to orchestrate the openings that we have. They're advertised. It's closed, I think, and we're about ready to start interviewing 2 of them. If we have additional ones, then I'll back up and decide how that should be. I'm a firm believer that if it's going to be a change in leadership, it's like the presidency was. Trump and his followers get in the car, get on the airplane, bye. And Biden and his crowd comes in. They won the election, and that's the rite of passage. Here, I'm making the decision. No one's made this decision for me. No one. This is my decision, and I'm making it for me, and I'm making it for my family and my 95-year-old father. And so It's a long time coming. Is it right? It's not going to be right. Am I going to go home and celebrate? No, I'll cry my eyes out all night long. It's going to be hard. And I need you to try to lift me up and support me and help me so I can do what I want to do, and I can walk away from here with my head held high, knowing that I have achieved and I've done the best I could. And my greatest achievement is picking the people that I have, my principals and my district office staff. I picked every one of you. Most of you were promoted by me into these positions. I'm trying to look around other than Jason, Amanda. Well, she's been promoted by me too. I changed her title. Everybody else, is there somebody that came to us? Of course, Sodexo. But other than that, I hired you. In most cases, you've already been promoted once or twice by me because you've delivered. You've done a great job. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And just keep on doing what you've been doing. And we're going to stand tall. We are Team Dorchester. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you waiting. That was what you waited for. So,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pye. Does anyone have any comments or anything?
do. I knew this day would come one day, but I thought it would be after I was long gone. I was here when you were principal of my children's school as a young mother, and I've watched what you've done to this district and how you have grown it and been a mother hen, even though you're also the father figure. How you listen to people. We've watched how you can calm an angry crowd, and we have watched you build schools and bond referendums and explosions at one of the high schools, floods, hurricanes, and you've always brought us through, and we've always been in the top 10 in our state, and we keep growing. It's been a difficult year for everybody in here. It has been throughout the whole nation. You have been so successful. I can go anywhere in the state when we have meetings, and when I was the state PTA president, other superintendents, when I told them that I, worked with you, they said, "Oh, Joe Pye, everybody knows Joe Pye." And it's true. And you are leaving a legacy and huge shoes to fill. And it has been an honor and a privilege for me not only have to been your employee when I worked there, but to be part of the PTA at Flowertown and to be on the board and to for a few years to be the chairman and work with you. You are irreplaceable. Somebody will replace you, but they will never be you. And I love you and wish you all the best. And if you change your mind, then that's okay too. I just had to say that.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to make any comments?
Sure. I don't know that there will ever be enough words to be able to appropriately show the thanks and the celebration and the gratitude. And I don't know that folks understand behind the scenes. DD2, I think about everything that we are. Everything. And I've said it over and over. It's not us. It's not the 7 names on these plaques up here. It's not us. There's one reason DD2 is DD2. And that's you. I'm like Tanya. Sure, did we know at some point this was coming? Yeah. But there is no, we will never, ever, ever, and I really do, I feel bad for the next person that we try to put in this position, because they will never live up to the legacy and what you have done for our community, for our state, for our nation. And I'm just forever thankful and grateful to have known you, to have been able to work with you. The range of emotions, if you couldn't tell, to open this building tonight for our first school board meeting, and then to have that dropped on us, is just something that it's overwhelming. So again, I hope you know, from me, I know from all of the board members, when you first said it, we all said we do not accept. We don't accept it. Of course we do. But the legacy and what you've done here, and the thousands and the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, the millions of people, the life that you've led, the 50 plus years of success that you've had, and the generations that's changed. I hope you know that you can go on forevermore knowing that you made a difference.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Pye, am I there? Okay, sorry. It's definitely been a year. I will say that I am grateful for the time that I knew you before this year, because I have children in this school district, and so I knew the district and you in a completely different way before I ever even thought about running for the school board. And my thoughts of you for many years have always been nothing but the utmost respect and admiration. And I appreciate greatly what you've done for this district, the sacrifices that you've made, the leadership that you've offered. You've certainly built an incredible, you've built something incredible. And what really means the most to me is that the families, the community, and the children who live here are the ones who benefit from that. And I've always appreciated that. And, you know, one of the reasons I got so involved in our school district, because I was just so grateful for the opportunity that it gave my children. I really was. It was just out of a true place of gratitude. I started volunteering. I loved the people. And I've said this so many times to other people when I'm trying to kind of explain why I got involved and why it was so important to me. I said, one of the very first times I ever heard Mr. Pye speak, he said, this district is all about the people. And I found that to be true from the very start. And I honestly believe that the reason that's true is because of you. Because you made that the priority. You saw how important your people were, and I've seen that this year too. Your people are everything to you, and your loyalty to them, and I admire that. And because of that, because of what you've built there, our children have been the ones to benefit from that. So I appreciate everything that you've done. I really am truly grateful for what you've built here, and I've enjoyed working with you this year, even though it's definitely been a challenge for sure. But I'll just end by saying thank you.
Thank you very much.
My colleagues on this board have said some wonderful things about Mr. Pye, and all of it is true. When you think about leadership, you think about passion, integrity, energy, and enthusiasm. You got Joe Pye. You look around at this district and you see all these people out in the audience and the countless others that are at home who don't know anything about this, maybe because they're not watching. But you think about the difference that Joe Pye made in their lives, some of them as students who are now professionals, who are now leading the community. What more could you ever ask for out of a human being and the fact that we were lucky enough to have him as our superintendent. Thank you, Mr. Pye. We do love you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. We have deep and eternal gratitude for everything that you've accomplished and what you built here. You've truly built a world-class school district, and that's observable by anybody that can look in. It's truly a family atmosphere. So when I look at other school districts, we don't see that what we see here. So I'm deeply grateful for what you do, and we're going to do our best to keep it going and build on your legacy and what you created here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know why I chose to be the last one. I don't know if that was smart or not. The thing about it is, Mr. Pye, is we're in the middle of Thanksgiving here, and all I can say is, you sit around and you think about what things that you're thankful for. Well, I have a lot of things that I'm thankful for, but one of the most important things that come to mind tonight as we're sitting here is I'm thankful for being able to sit beside you and work with you. All these years, we've had almost 16 years now that we've worked together. We've had good times, we've had bad times, but we've always come out on the top, or at least very close to the top. But it's been because of your leadership that we've done that. It's because of what you are and what you stand for. And as I've told you several times during conversations, I think that I am who I am because of you. Because you have taught me so much. When I started on this board, I was a business owner from the community that went to these schools, just a little country girl, and I had 2 kids that went through these schools. Me being a school board member, I had no idea that I would ever do anything like that. But you taught me what it was like to be a school board member, to look at things the way I needed to look at things, to make sure that every child had an equal opportunity to get the very best education they possibly could. You instilled that into me. And because of you, I am who I am today. I don't know what I would do without you. Thank you very much for everything that you've done for me. And as I told you about a year or so ago, I think I made you a little t-shirt that said, "You're my hero."
You did.
You are my hero. You're my children's hero, and you're lots of other children's out there hero. And we appreciate everything that you've done. And on this Thanksgiving, a couple of days away, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful for you. Thank you very much.
So I'm going to comment on Evan's comment about he's going to keep it going. I'm going to hold you to that. I may be fishing. I don't know what I might be doing. Trust me. I will call you. Say, Evan, you promised me. What are you doing? So now I know you'll do a great job. I will have to say, as long as you stay focused on these children, these naysayer parents and people that come here, they're voicing their concern, and we always try to listen and do. But it's been difficult the last 2 years for all of us, my staff, myself, y'all, because we've heard a lot of emotional pleas, and it bothers us. It puts us on a guilt trip. We want to fix it. Some things we had no control over. We still have no control over it. We just have to ask people to trust us and be patient. No one has an agenda other than what's right for children. And what's right for your child may not be what's right for his child. We have to represent all children. So if I've done nothing in my term here, I hope that the greatest gift I could give is that I've represented all children. All of them. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Pye. And I think that's all for tonight's meeting. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Mr. Guthrie. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Wimberly. Any discussion? All in favor? 6-0. Thank you everyone for coming and for hanging out and waiting on us, and have a very happy Thanksgiving.